Chapter 18. Cassie stood on the front porch. Her usually neat hair stood out in all directions. Her eyes were wild. "Oh, Diane," she cried, "you're not going to believe this." "What's wrong?" I asked, shutting the door behind her. She dug into her purse and pulled out a piece of paper. "Look what I found in my bag," she answered. Flipping a sheet of paper open, she read, "I know about your night games. You're going to be the loser." She raised her eyes to me. I don't recognize the handwriting. My heartbeat quickened. "Who is doing this to us?" I cried. Lenny appeared at the front hall. "What's the matter, Cass? Are you okay?" Cassie shook her head. "No, none of us is okay." She shoved a note at him and stormed into the den. Cassie flopped onto the couch with an enormous sigh. I sat down next to her, but she didn't say anything more. Lenny handed the note back to Cassie. "It's Mr. Crowell," he said. "Mr. Crowell?" Cassie repeated. "You think he's writing notes and phoning Diane in the middle of the night?" "Who else could it be?" he answered. Cassie glanced at me. "Diane, your boyfriend is cute, but he's crazy." "Tell me about it," I replied. I smiled at Lenny, but he didn't smile back. "It has to be Mr. Crowell," Lenny insisted. He paced back and forth in front of us. "That man is really twisted. There's no telling how far he'd go to torture us. That's how he gets his kicks, by making our lives miserable." "He wouldn't go that far," Cassie argued. "You just think it's Crowell because you hate him." "He's the only one who could have spotted us," Lenny insisted. "You saw how he glared at us in class, didn't you?" "Yeah," Cassie answered. "But why would he slip a note into my purse? He could call the police and get us all into real trouble." I shook my head at Lenny. "I don't think it was Mr. Crowell either. He may not like us, but put a note into Cassie's bag? Come on." "Yeah," Cassie agreed. "Diane is right." "I think it was Brian," I announced. "Brian?" Lenny asked. He gazed at me curiously. "What does that creep have to do with this?" I hesitated. I didn't want Lenny to get into another fight with Brian. "Diane," he urged impatiently, "what's going on?" I decided to tell him. "Nothing is going on," I said firmly. "Brian wants to go out again. He's been following me. He's acting really strange, too. I told him to go away and leave me alone." "Well, if he tries to talk to you again," Lenny said, "tell me. I'll take care of it." "No, Lenny," I started. "Don't worry," he assured me. "I won't hit him. With Mr. Crowell in my case, I couldn't afford to get into any more fights." I sat beside Lenny. He slipped his arm around my shoulders. "Well, we've pretty much run out of suspects," Lenny said matter-of-factly. "It has to be Brian." "Maybe not," Cassie said. "How about Spencer?" Lenny and I both stared at her. "Why Spencer?" Lenny asked. "Haven't you noticed?" Cassie replied. "He's so different now." Lenny snorted. "And you thought I was nuts for suspecting Mr. Crowell? This whole thing was Spencer's idea. Why would he try to scare us?" Cassie frowned. "I don't know, but I've been thinking, Spencer's sense of humor is so warped now. He really got a charge out of scaring that couple in the car, and he loves smashing up Mr. Crowell's Christmas decorations." I remembered Spencer's wild laughter as we ran down the street. "He likes stealing the CD player, too," I added. "So he likes excitement," Lenny scoffed. "What's so bad about that?" "The wrong kind of excitement," I pointed out. "But Spencer loves to play the night games," Lenny argued. "It doesn't make any sense that he would try to stop them." "No one said it had to make sense," I answered. "We haven't seen Spencer in a year. He could have gone through all kinds of changes during that time." "He does seem really different," I agreed. "Did you ever notice that?" Someone knocked on the door. I stopped talking and stared at my friends. Cassie licked her lips nervously. More pounding. I took a deep breath. "Why does everyone come to my house?" I muttered. I strode to the front door. "Who is it?" I called out. "It's me," Spencer called back. "Open up." I pulled open the door. He stared in at me, frowning, biting his bottom lip. "I can't believe it, Diane," he said finally. His voice trembled. He dug in the pocket of his jeans and pulled out a note. "Look at this." I glanced at it. The same handwriting as on Cassie's note. "Cassie got one too," I told him. "She and Lenny are already here. Come in." He followed me to the den. He nodded to Lenny and Cassie. "Spencer got a note too," I said. "It looks just like Cassie's." "I found it stuck under the windshield wiper of my car," Spencer reported. "What does it say?" Lenny asked. Spencer looked down at the note and read it aloud. "Night games can be dangerous," he read quietly. "Sometimes people die." Last Winter. Chapter 19. By the time Spencer awoke, deep snow had drifted against the windows. He rolled out of bed and stumbled to the kitchen. He made a cup of hot chocolate, then went out onto the deck of the cabin. Quiet out here. Spencer drew a deep breath. He liked the snow, and the quiet it brought. If only I had someone to share it with, he thought. Someone like Diane. He glanced toward the window of her room. Maybe she would get up before the others. Maybe she would join him. Hey, Spence! He turned to see Cassie, wearing neon blue ski pants and a bright blue jacket. Diane followed her out onto the deck. Her long, blonde hair was woven in a braid. She yanked the blue knit cap low over her forehead and flashed Spencer a smile. His heart surged. He remembered how it felt to kiss her, but then he thought of Lenny's punch. Spencer touched his mouth, still sore. We're going out to play in the snow, Diane said brightly. Lenny and Jordan are getting ready now. Come with us, Spencer? Let me grab my coat, he answered. He followed the girls through the cabin and outside. Cassie turned a circle in the deep snow and fell backwards. She swished her arms up and down. What are you doing? Spencer called. Making a snow angel, of course, she cried. Diane grabbed Spencer's hand and pulled him down into the snow. They sprawled there giggling and making angels until Lenny and Jordan showed up. Spencer glanced up at them. The expression on Lenny's face frightened him. He hasn't forgiven me for kissing Diane, Spencer realized. Look at that, Len, Jordan said. Spencer's moving in on our girlfriends. Hey, he's a lot more fun than you, Cassie teased. Lenny snorted in reply. Then you can be on Spencer's side, he snapped. What do you mean? Diane asked. A snowball war, Lenny declared. Jordan and me against you, Cassie, and Spencer. Diane giggled. Okay, you're on. She held out her hands for Lenny to help her up. Diane pulled away and kicked through the snow. Come on, guys, she yelled. Laughing, Cassie ran after her. Spencer followed slowly. He couldn't shake the feeling that Lenny had something nasty planned, more than just a snowball fight. The girls started the battle. They launched a couple of snowballs at Lenny's head. He ducked. Cassie squealed. Jordan pelted her, and she fell back into the snow. Spencer saw Lenny glaring at him. I hate that guy. I can't believe he came to my uncle's cabin when I didn't even invite him, Spencer thought bitterly. Diane and Cassie tossed handfuls of snow. Spencer bent down and began packing his own snowballs, extra hard. Then he melted them with his hand to form a layer of ice. He waited until Lenny turned away. Then he picked up an ice ball and pitched it at Lenny with all his strength. It sped through the cold, clear air. Spencer watched in horror as it whizzed past Lenny and smacked Jordan on the side of the head. Jordan uttered a cry and went down as if he had been hit with a hammer. Before Jordan could get up, Spencer grabbed another ice ball and hurled it at Lenny. Direct hit. It slammed Lenny in the mouth. He yelped and reached for his face. Spencer smiled grimly. That's for punching me last night, he thought. Spencer saw a thin trickle of blood at the corner of Lenny's mouth. Lenny wiped it with his glove. Drops of blood stained the white snow. Lenny yanked Jordan to his feet and pointed at Spencer. Jordan rubbed his head. Lenny and Jordan stalked angrily toward Spencer. Spencer felt the bitter taste of fear rise up in his throat. Diane stopped throwing snowballs. What are you guys doing? She cried. Spencer is using ice balls, Lenny growled. Both girls stared at Spencer. Why? Diane demanded. Spencer couldn't meet her eyes. He shrugged. I didn't mean to. Maybe they froze. Lenny and Jordan stopped on either side of Spencer. Maybe they froze, Lenny repeated. Give it up. You made them hard as a rock. Spencer felt his heart pounding. What was I thinking, he wondered. He was no match for Lenny, and definitely not for both Lenny and Jordan. He tried to sound tough, but his voice shook anyway. It's only a dumb snowball fight. Why don't you just chill, Lenny? Lenny snorted. Why don't you? He jumped forward. Jordan moved at the same time. They shoved him headfirst into a deep snowdrift. Let's bury him, Jordan yelled. Excellent, Lenny cried, laughing. Get away, instructed a voice in Spencer's head. Crawl away from them. He struggled to move, tried to wipe the snow from his eyes, but Lenny held his arms, then sat on his legs. Spencer yanked one arm loose, but snow filled his eyes and his mouth. White all around now, frozen white. Which way? Spencer thought frantically. Which direction is up? He clawed blindly at the snow, but it felt so heavy on his arms, heavy on his back. He felt them pile more snow on top of him, felt its weight crush him down, even deeper into the white. He gasped for air, but with every effort at breathing he took in a mouthful of snow. Drowning, he thought. I'm drowning in snow. From far away he heard Diane and Cassie laughing. Lenny and Jordan chanted, Bury him! Bury him! Please stop, Spencer pleaded, but the snow filled his mouth. His tongue felt frozen, numb. He gagged, his mouth stuffed with icy snow. "Lenny!" Spencer heard Diane's voice. "Stop! He'll freeze!" Lenny's laughter sounded miles away. "It's just a joke." Just a joke. The words echoed in Spencer's head. A joke. The icy cold penetrated his clothes and boots. He had no feeling in his hands, his arms, his feet and legs. So dark inside the snowdrift, so quiet. The weight of the snow pressed down, crushing him, paralyzing him. Voices came from a long way off, laughing, chanting, "Bury him! Bury him! Alive!" Spencer pushed against the packed snow, pushed against the frozen walls, pushed down with everything he had. His muscles strained. He remained packed in the snow, frozen. Panic filled him. What could he do? How could he tell them he was freezing? Calm down, he told himself. Stay calm. Diane would get him out. She wouldn't let Lenny hurt him. Voices, muffled words. Spencer tried to concentrate on the sounds. They seemed so far away. Pain shot up his right leg. He fought to move. Tired. Too tired to try again. Time passed. How long? He wasn't sure. He heard Lenny's voice, louder than before. "Race you home, Spencer," Lenny called. "We can't leave him there," Diane's voice. "He'll freeze." "He's okay," Jordan said. "He's just angry. Wants us to think he can't get out." Spencer strained to hear the voices. "I can't move," he wanted to scream. "Help me. Somebody, please. I can't get out." "Let's head back to Shady Side," Lenny's voice again. "We can't leave Spencer," Diane arguing with him. "He has a car. He can get back on his own." Whose voice was that? He felt confused. Who was talking? The voices faded away. Silence. Spencer wondered if he had fallen asleep. He felt so tired now, so sleepy. He heard a car start. The sound made Spencer alert. Jordan's Jeep. They started up the Jeep. Terror warmed Spencer. He pushed against the snow with everything he had. He opened his mouth to scream, but it filled with more snow. The only thing that could scream now were his thoughts. They couldn't drive away. They couldn't leave him here, buried in the snow, buried alive. "Come back," he wailed silently. "I can't move. I can't breathe. I'm so cold. Diane, please, you're not going to leave me here to die. You're not going to leave me. Are you?" This winter. Chapter 20. "Diane?" I heard Cassie calling me from across the cafeteria. "Over here." Cassie always gets to the lunchroom before me on Thursdays. She saves our usual table. I spotted her and carried my tray over. Lenny and Jordan sat across from her. I took the empty chair next to Cassie. "I don't know why I bothered buying food," I told them. "I'm too nervous to eat." Lenny grabbed half of my turkey sandwich and began wolfing it down. "I know what you mean," Cassie said. "I couldn't sleep last night. I was too worried about Spencer's note." "It gave me the creeps," Jordan said. It sounded like someone wants to kill us." "It sounds like some kind of sick joke to me," Lenny said. "I don't get it," Cassie said fretfully. "We should have told Spencer last night that we weren't going to play any more night games," I told them. "Isn't that what we agreed to do?" We were all set to tell Spencer that it was over. Why hadn't we said anything last night when he came to my house with a note? "What are we doing that's so bad?" Jordan asked with a shrug. "We're only playing games." "Spencer stole something," Cassie cried. "We could all get in trouble for that. And now someone is threatening us." Jordan nodded solemnly. "I guess you're right," he admitted. "Obviously someone knows about us. I wish we could figure out who it is." I thought of all the suspects again. First, Brian. Did he send the threatening notes and make the telephone calls? Who else could it be? Mr. Crowell? No one but Lenny would believe that. Cassie had suspected Spencer. Then he turned up with that note. Brian was the only one it could be. But why? Why would he try to frighten us? And what would he do next? Lenny agreed to talk to Mr. Crowell if I promised to wait outside the classroom while he did it. Classes had ended for the day. I walked Lenny to Mr. Crowell's room, and I stood in the quiet hall, near the classroom door. Lenny wore nice, clean khakis and a dark blue pullover sweater. He even combed his hair. I knew he wanted to impress Mr. Crowell. It didn't work. I planned to eavesdrop on the conversation, but I didn't have to, because Lenny and Mr. Crowell started screaming at each other loud enough for the whole school to hear. I glanced around nervously. Should I go in and stop them? What if Lenny lost control and punched him? He would be expelled from school. I reached for the doorknob. Before I touched it, the door swung open and slammed against the wall. Lenny shoved past me and stalked down the hall. He didn't look at me. I sprinted after him and finally caught up with him near the gym. Lenny stopped short in front of the open doors. I heard the sounds of the basketball team practicing inside. Uh-oh, I thought. Lenny's really going to lose it now. His hands balled into fists. His face shone bright red with fury. Are you all right? I asked. You were wrong, Diane, he said through gritted teeth. What happened with Mr. Crow? I demanded. He said I was wasting his time. He said I would never change. Lenny's voice shook with rage. He called me a loser. So you lost it? You blew up at him? Lenny's head whipped around. He glared at me. What was I supposed to do? He shouted. Just stand there and let him call me names? Jordan ran off the basketball court and came to the doors. He caught Lenny's eye and they nodded at each other. I felt a chill sweep through my body. I had never seen Jordan and Lenny so grim, so determined, so angry. What will you do? I whispered. I gripped his hand. He squeezed my fingers so hard it hurt. One more night game, Diane, Lenny said through clenched teeth. One more visit to Mr. Crowell's house. Chapter 21. We met behind Spencer's house at midnight. The temperature had dropped during the afternoon, and the night air froze my breath into smoky clouds. I shivered in my leather jacket. Lenny didn't wear a coat. I don't think he even noticed the cold. Jordan and Cassie clung to each other. It was too cold for them to fight. Nobody spoke. We waited for half an hour before Spencer finally climbed out of his house. He didn't apologize for being late. Instead, he led us off into the night without a word. His expression matched Lenny's. Solemn, determined. The empty streets echoed our footsteps. I looked at the darkened houses. I imagined people asleep inside. I wished that I was home in my own bed, not out in the freezing cold, creeping through the shadows. I watched Spencer as he walked in front of us. He wore all black again. His graceful movements made me think of a panther, a night stalker. When did he change so much? We reached Mr. Crowell's house. It looked empty. No Christmas lights blazing, no car in the driveway. Lenny crept up to the side window we had used before. I grabbed his arm. What if he's waiting for us in there? I whispered. Lenny jerked his arm away. I turned to Spencer. What if he called the police and they're waiting for us? This is stupid. Come on, Diane, Spencer urged. You've come this far. It's only a joke. I don't care if he's home or not, Lenny snarled. Let's go in. I hope he's home. Lenny pushed past me to get at the window. I couldn't move. My legs suddenly felt trembly and weak. The mood tonight frightened me. None of the other night games had started this way, with so much anger. Are you coming or not? Lenny demanded. Cassie sighed and clung to Jordan. Jordan nodded. I slowly followed him inside. I was so afraid I expected Mr. Crowell to jump out at me any second. I took a single step into the dark room. A loud crash made me scream. My foot had tangled in an electric cord. I had knocked a lamp to the floor. My friend snickered at me. I picked up the lamp and put it back. My hand shook as I patted the bent lampshade back into shape. The house was totally dark. Cassie linked her arm through mine. I felt her trembling. The guys fanned out into the room. Lenny stood directly in front of me. The moon came from behind a cloud and washed eerie white light through a window. It glinted off the metal in Lenny's hand. A gun? No, not Lenny. Not a gun. Lenny, I cried, are you crazy? What are you going to do with that? Chapter 22. Lenny, please, Cassie cried. She clung tightly to my hand. Somebody is going to get hurt. I couldn't speak. I could only stare at the glinting metal in Lenny's hand. Lenny slowly raised his hand. He pointed. The dim light glistened on the gun. I took a step backward. Time seemed to stop. Put it away, Cassie whispered. Just chill, you two, Lenny said. Nobody is going to get hurt. He swung his hand up. Get it away, Cassie insisted. She squeezed her eyes shut and clung to me. I forced myself to look. At the spray paint can. Spray paint can? Relief rushed through me. I sighed. Cassie, it's just spray paint, I said. She opened her eyes and began laughing. What are you going to do with that? I whispered. Lenny smiled. I thought I'd do a little redecorating. Lenny, don't, I pleaded. This is getting way out of control. Crowell deserves it, Lenny replied quietly. He shook the paint can. The loud rattling echoed in the silent room. Lenny, no, I whispered. I tugged on his arm, but he shook me off. He shook the can again, took a step toward the wall. My stomach tightened, my legs grew rubbery, but I stood and watched Lenny. He walked up to the bookshelf and began spraying the paint in a thick zigzag all over the books. He whipped his arm around, changing from zigzags to big circles, then spirals. He laughed out loud. Hey, this is fun. Want to try? No way, I yelled back. I couldn't take it anymore. I suddenly felt sorry for Mr. Crow. This had gone too far. I ran out of the room, out into the dark hallway. Cassie, I whispered, where are you? Here, she called. I stumbled forward in the darkness until I found her. We have to get out of here, I cried. This is horrible. I don't want to be part of this. Where are the guys? Cassie asked. What do you mean? I began. They're right. My voice trailed off as I realized that I couldn't hear Lenny's spray can anymore. I started to panic. Where are they? I cried. I don't hear them. Cassie grabbed my hand and we inched along the wall. We slowly turned into the short hallway. It seemed even darker here. Suddenly, I heard excited whispers. Cassie heard them too. Her nails dug into my arm. I took a step forward. Cassie walked so close behind me that she stomped on my heel. Sorry, she whispered. I followed the sound of the voices. It was so dark that I walked with my hands out in front of me to keep from bumping into things. The floorboards squeaked with each step. Cassie clung to the back of my jacket. I felt rough fabric, wool. I moved my hand closer. A coat. The coat moved. I screamed and stumbled back as someone pulled a coat over my head. I stumbled over Cassie. I heard her scream. I pulled the heavy coat off my face and grabbed at my attacker. No one. An empty coat. Attacked by a coat tree. I had walked into it in the dark. I sat up, my heart pounding. Cassie stood up and then helped me. I gasped for air. I thought someone... Me too, Cassie choked out. The coat fell in. Let's just find the guys and get out of here, I said. She nodded. Lead the way. We started down the hallway again. Slow steps, my hands out straight, feeling in the darkness. I heard a gasp. Lenny's voice. My fingers met a dead end. The bedroom door closed. I pushed it open. It made a loud squeaking sound. Cassie let go of my jacket and disappeared into the dark room. I stood just inside the door. I squinted into the darkness. The light flashed on. Cassie had found the wall switch. I blinked against the bright light. I saw Spencer and Jordan. They stood close to each other, staring down at something on the floor. I followed their gaze. Mr. Crow, sprawled on the floor on his back, legs out straight, arms hanging stiffly at his sides, fists clenched. His cold black eyes stared blankly up at the ceiling's glaring light. He didn't blink. Spencer leaned over him. Then he looked up at me. He's dead, Spencer whispered. Chapter 23. My stomach lurched. I started to gag. I covered my mouth with my hands. I couldn't turn my eyes away from the figure sprawled so stiffly on the floor. Mr. Crow's body. Cassie sank to her knees. She covered her face with her hands and began to moan. I slowly walked over to Mr. Crow. Any second he would come alive. I knew it. He would sit up and yell at us, tell us it was a joke. No, he remained perfectly still, frozen. Spencer and Jordan stared at me, their faces chalk white. I knelt down beside Mr. Crow and forced myself to look at his face. His skin shone with a sickly gray color, brown circles under his eyes. His thin lips were pulled tight, frozen in a grimace of pain. His glasses lay on the carpet near his head. Shattered glass hung from the twisted frames. Both lenses were smashed. My eyes wandered back to his body. A gnarled hand was flung out like a claw. He must have been clawing for his glasses before he died. To see the terror he faced? To see his killer? I reached out to touch his hand, but stopped. The floorboards creaked and we all jumped. I turned to see Lenny walk into the room grinning. He took one look at my face and stopped short. His jaw dropped in shock. What happened? He asked. No one answered. I glanced back down at Mr. Crow. Then nausea hit me again. I stumbled to my feet and gripped my stomach. I dove across the room, trying to stop the retching. Who could have done this? Who hated Mr. Crow enough to kill him? Cassie hurried over and put her arm around me. Jordan's voice broke the silence. Don't touch anything, he ordered. How can he be dead? I murmured. Who knows, Jordan snapped. He stared at Lenny. We didn't kill him. We have to get out of here. If the police find out we broke in... Lenny nodded grimly. I couldn't make my mind work. Was Jordan right? Was the teacher dead when we arrived? My thoughts ran wild. Lenny. Lenny hated Mr. Crow so much. Lenny had fantasies of killing him. I stared at Lenny in horror. Lenny wasn't here when the rest of us found the body. Where was he? No, Lenny couldn't kill Mr. Crow. Lenny couldn't kill anyone, I told myself. Spencer placed his hand on my shoulder. I jumped. Come on, Diane, he said quietly. We have to get out of here. I couldn't move. Spencer knelt in front of me and gazed into my eyes. Was it Lenny? I whispered. Did Lenny go too far? Spencer just stared at me. We have to leave, he said finally. He stood and pulled me up, then pushed me toward the bedroom door. The others already crept toward the side window. Lenny stopped short. What's wrong? Jordan asked. What do you think? Lenny wailed. I spray painted the walls. The police will see it. Jordan grabbed Lenny's arm. You didn't sign your name, did you? Lenny shook his head. No, but... The police won't have a clue, Jordan told him. Hurry up. Let's go. Lenny didn't budge. The spray can, he murmured. Where's the can? He began to search around frantically. I can't leave without the can. It has my fingerprints on it. His voice rose. Where is it? He cried. Where did you leave it? I asked. Lenny shook his head. I tossed it somewhere. I wasn't thinking. I just threw it down. It could be anywhere. We have to get out of here, Cassie warned. Jordan was pulling pillows off the couch, searching for the paint can. I grabbed Lenny by the arms. Calm down and try to think, I urged. Where were you when you stopped spraying the paint? Lenny groaned softly. He rubbed his hand across his forehead. I don't know, he whispered. I can't think straight. We have to go, Cassie repeated. We have to get out of here, now. Be quiet, Jordan snapped. Get down, Spencer cried. I threw myself onto the hardwood floor just as the headlights of a car rolled across the wall behind me. The police, Cassie gasped. I pressed my hand over my mouth to keep from groaning out loud. It was all over. Our lives were ruined. We were caught.